Hello, world, and welcome to Cartridge Club Portable. I'm your host, Curtis Friesel, and this is the last ever CCPortable. So I thought it was fitting to stream for the first time ever. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. We're about to find out. With me is YouTube's #1 Blu-ray channel, Buried on Mars, aka
right.
Kevin.
I don't host the #1 Blu-ray channel. I am the #1 Blu-ray channel on YouTube.
I like it. So thanks for being here. Yeah. And Matt Bandy, who's having some audio difficulties. He was sounding really loud, so he's going to be figuring this out in a second. So I thought it'd be fun. You know, we could have postponed this, been a little bit later, but I want to see Matt Bandy try and figure this out.
Curtis, you guys just don't lie to them. We are not big enough to actually get Matt Bandy, and all we were able to get was Matt Bandy's chair and his background.
That's true. It's a fake profile. That's a computer set up in another room, and we just put the name as Matt Bandy. I like how he puts his full name, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, Matt, there's some people out there that you only know them by their full name, right? You must have friends that, like, you say their full name. Matt Bandy's one of those people. I can't call him Matt. Even when I'm talking to him, I'm like, hey, Matt Bandy.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Hey, where should we go eat lunch, Matt Bandy? He's one of those people, right? You got people like that, right?
Just rolls off the tongue. You know?
It does. So this is fun. I've never streamed. I was telling you before we started this, I've never streamed before. I'm kind of nervous. Like,
you're doing a fine job so far.
You don't get to screw up. We got some people here in the comments, it looks like. It's Rocket Sauced, Bill from Start to Continue. This is great. I don't know if they're still here.
I think they are. They wouldn't want to miss a second of this.
I think they're going to be here the entire time, and my ego is not going to be tarnished because they're not going to leave. So there we go. Matt Bandy's back. Perfect timing. Oh my gosh. Matt Bandy, everybody.
Doesn't have his headphones.
He can't hear us.
I think he wet his hair.
Look at that.
I think that's...
No, his hair's always wet. He's one of those people, just like where you have to always say his full name. His hair is always wet.
Hair's always wet.
He looks like a wrestler. Their hair's always wet. You ever notice that?
Yeah, well, they're always sweating, right? Because they just pumped up on roids, and I think roids make you sweat.
Yeah. No, they come to the ring wet, so I don't know what they're doing backstage, but
they're pumping up.
Pumping up. Good. Rocket Sauce says he's off today and he has no plans for a few hours. So
great.
I mean, how lucky are we to have Rocket Sauce joining in?
We are blessed.
If you're just tuning in, I saw our ticker went up one. If you're just tuning in, this is the last episode ever of CCPortable. Finally, we got rid of Matt Bandy. Good God, I hate that guy. Now we can talk about him behind his back.
Right.
We will eventually talk about portable games, I think. I don't know. I really didn't make an outline for this. Mm-hmm. You know, while we're here, why don't I talk about how CCPortable started? Right?
Sounds good.
The Cartridge Club was founded. Do you know the year that the Cartridge Club was founded? What was that, like 2014, 2013, somewhere around there?
I'm pretty sure it was 2013. I'm pretty sure the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 was just coming out.
Wow, are they that old already?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Blows my mind. 7 years. And I would consider myself one of the early Cartridge Club members, maybe not as early as you, Kevin, or some of the other folks out there, but I think I was I definitely wasn't Saved by the Bell, the new class.
No.
I was like season 3, season 2, maybe.
No, I think you came in around J-Rock's time, I think.
Yeah.
Say that. I'm going to say that.
But anyway, I feel like I got in on the ground floor. You know, I'm not Steve Jobs or Wozniak, but I'm like whoever came after that. I don't know any more Apple people.
If we were ever to make Cartridge Club Classic, you would definitely be in part of it. You are part of CC Classic for sure.
Well, I definitely consider you an authority on Cartridge Club matters, Kevin. I mean, you are part of the longest running Pure Blood podcast connected to the Cartridge Club.
That is true.
You know,
we've been around for a long time and can't stop talking.
That means something. So anyway, I'm part of the Cartridge Club. I thought it was a great idea. Loved the whole monthly thing, but it bothered me. I mean, we were like 3 years in or something at that point, and it was very hard. I always suggested portable games because I thought they never do portable games. And the one game I really wanted to play was Donkey Kong 94, or just Donkey Kong on Game Boy, because I thought that was a really underrated game that nobody talked about. It's funny talking about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, however long ago this was, because I feel like so many underrated games that people were like hidden gems. Everybody knows about them now, like, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I wanted to play Donkey Kong, and I suggested it month after month after month, and they wouldn't play it. And so finally I was just like, should I just start a podcast so I can finally talk about this stupid Donkey Kong game? And the more I thought about it, the more I was attracted to the idea. This is right around that big podcast boom where everybody and their mother had to have a podcast. And I thought, well, I should probably have a podcast myself. Little known fact, I actually, this was not my first podcast. I had a podcast, Kevin, listen to this, back in 2006 or 2007.
That's really early.
I was, man, you want to talk about ground floor of podcasts? I was there, man. It was called Boy Cow Radio. Stupid title. I didn't come up with it. But me and my buddy, it was my buddy Travis, we were hosted on Collider.com, if you're familiar with that. It's kind of a movie news website. Okay. And we talked about movie news way back in the day. I remember reviewing like Clerks 2.
Right. Yep.
So that would have been 2006 because that came out in 2006. I remember reviewing Clerks 2 and giving it a perfect rating.
Oh, wow.
2006, I was 18 or 19 years old. So my tastes have definitely developed a little bit further. Bandy's trying to get back in. Point being, oh, good Lord. How you doing, Matt Bandy?
I'm doing okay.
Somehow you got louder, if that's possible.
Are you kidding me?
But I'm so glad everyone else can hear this right now so they can see what we're hearing and listening to.
I'm going to try one more thing.
Hey, wait, whoa. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
Are you sure?
I don't know. What does everyone else think in the comments? Rocket Sauce, is he too loud?
I think
Matt, tell us about yourself.
I don't want to talk about myself. I'm angry. See, I'm never late for things, and I'm so flustered and frustrated right now.
Oh, it's fine.
It makes for good streaming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it still coming in super loud? It's got to be these headphones.
I think you sound okay.
It's okay. I think we can deal with this. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, Matt Bandy.
Thanks for having me.
Let's just get this out of the way right now. Matt Bandy, I was doing the math here. You hold the distinction of appearing on Cartridge Club Portable the most out of anyone. Did you know that?
I had a feeling, but I wasn't going to assume anything.
Yeah, you were on. I think this is your 7th appearance, if my math was correct.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe this might be your sixth appearance. Pretty good though. Considering we had this is episode 37, so it's pretty good.
Wow, not too bad.
For a while, I thought Matt Bandy was running the show.
I wish he would, because we were just talking about how I got into this CC Portable and why I started it, and whether or not I got in over my head. Because here we are, some 3 years later, doing the last episode.
I think you've done a fine job, Curtis. I don't think you were in over your head. You handled things great professionally and put out a quality show every month and picked fun games, and there was good interaction. And I can't thank you enough for doing this. I had a great time doing it. It was something that I was able to participate in on a monthly basis for the most part, and I couldn't always participate with the Prime games, so to have a second option to where I could play on a monthly basis, and it was great.
Well, I see you got the check I sent you. Thank you very much for those kind words.
It bounced, so we might have to talk about that off air. So
Oh, well, don't worry. I'll Venmo you, whatever. Yeah. So I was, before you so rudely interrupted us, I was talking about how I started the Cartridge Club Portable, and the first episode I wanted to do was on Donkey Kong 94, right? And I finally got up. Oh, wow. Is that sealed?
it's not sealed, but it's a box copy.
Oh, you got it in a protector? Is that what that is?
It's in a protector, yeah.
Wow, that's sexy. Yeah. Is that complete?
It is complete.
Gosh darn it. You got me even beat. I want to point out to anyone who's listening or watching right now, I'm in London, and I am at somewhere that's not where I live. And I don't have any of my stuff here aside from whatever I brought in my suitcase, which was definitely not my entire game collection. So Matt Bandy and Kevin, you are definitely going to be able to outshine me on cool things that you can show the camera, because all I got is this empty Coca-Cola bottle.
Well, I just spent half of what I was going to show, so don't get too excited.
Well, no, that's great. I'm jealous. I love that game, and
Me too. That's why I have it.
and I got it out of the way. I got Donkey Kong out of the way, right? Trying to finish this preamble about CC Portable. I got Donkey Kong out of the way, and then I realized, like, crap, I got to come up with like an actual show now where we talk about portable games every month. What am I going to do? And a lot of them I put out in the earlier episodes. I put out votes to you guys, what you wanted to play. I would maybe give you some choices. I was very open to suggestions. And then it got to a point where I just was like, okay, I feel like we have enough suggestions, and I do need a bigger suitcase. Thank you. I have enough suggestions, and I feel like I have games that I want to play, and this is my chance. So I just started picking what I wanted to play. And that is kind of what came to be as CC Portable. I don't really have an outline for this show today. I did write down what we've played, and I thought maybe it would be fun to take a trip down memory lane of CC Portable. Maybe we can jump in and talk about some things along the way. Whatever, whatever comes to mind. Just some fun memories about that. So yeah, does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate it. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Kevin. Kevin has been editing and putting out CC Portable for me while I've been not at home for the last few months during this global crisis we've been living through. So special thank you to Kevin. You've been doing an ace's job, and I couldn't have done it without you.
Well, you're welcome, sir. It really was nothing. And I was happy to do it.
Yeah. Well, you really stepped up and helped me when I needed some help. So thank you. And in fact, it was your suggestion to do this today, this StreamYard thing, which I was really nervous about. And I'm sure you saw that on our text back and forth, sure, or got that hint. Mm-hmm. But we made it work. And people, we got 5 people watching us right now.
In a while.
We're big time. I think those are better than Retro Fandango numbers.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But honestly, we never really promote, so I think that's part of our problem.
Well, there you go. This is the first time I've ever done this, and we're already beating your number. So,
well,
I don't know what to tell you, Kevin. I don't know what you're doing.
You got Matt Bandy. That's it.
I do have Matt Bandy.
Well, yeah.
You don't have Bandy. That's instant viewership right there.
Goes a long way. Okay, so let's talk about CC Portable. Go down memory lanes. Memory lanes? Yeah, let's go down all the lanes of memory.
There's a couple of lanes, yeah.
Yeah. So this was actually kind of fun. I was putting this list together earlier, and I had completely forgotten we'd played some of these games and some of these guests that we had on. So this is kind of fun. As I said, the first game we played was Donkey Kong 94. Fantastic game, like right out the gate. I think I gave it a 5. Perfect game to me. But the one thing that I wanted to mention about this was my first guest was none other than Vintage Video Game Geek, which you might be thinking to yourself, if you're not familiar with this person, who is Vintage Video Game Geek? You might even do a search on the internet. Well, guess what? Doesn't exist anymore. Vintage Video Game Geek is scrubbed from the internet, except for, I'm very proud to say, CCPortable. It's in the archives. I can prove that he did once exist.
He did a Fandango, a few Fandangos actually.
Oh, so there you go. We got some more proof.
Yeah, he's around.
He had a YouTube channel. He had a podcast of his own, probably one that inspired a lot of us, the Retro Rejects, and none of that stuff exists anymore. Yeah. How do you think? What do you feel about that when people like delete everything, like their whole channel?
I understand it.
You understand it?
Yeah, because I've had where you get tired of having the same discussions over and over again, especially on YouTube. Like that stuff just lives there forever, and you'll get a comment on something that's like, that you did 6 years ago, and it's like, I really don't want to have this conversation anymore. And maybe you just want to reboot and restart and all that, start fresh. So I understand it, but I'm not at the point where I would do it myself.
What about you, Matt Bandy? You're not a big content putter-outer person. You're more of an absorber.
Yeah, and I'm bummed that especially the Retro Rejects podcast is gone, because that was pretty much my introduction to the Cartridge Club, to the retro gaming community. That was the first podcast I ever subscribed to, first podcast I ever downloaded, and it was through Chris's NES Complex's channel is how I discovered it. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that it's gone, because it's, I would sometimes go back and listen to old episodes because it's kind of reminds me of a more simpler time when our community was a little bit smaller and a little more just focused on games and the enjoyment we got from that. And I'm almost nostalgic for those feelings of nostalgia. So it's kind of a strange thing, but yeah, I mean, it's his stuff. He can do what he wants. It's just, for me as a consumer and someone who enjoys the show, it's it's selfish of me to think that, but it's a bummer, because I love the show, and it just sucks that it's gone.
I agree. I miss that stuff, but what can you do? Life moves on.
That's what happens.
And we're gonna move on to the second game we played, which is Tetris DS. Now,
oh yes,
this game, I'm not a big puzzle game or even Tetris guy, to be honest, but I loved me some Tetris DS, and I really got into playing against someone. What do they call it when you do it on the DS, but with someone who's in the same room as you? I forget what that's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Me and my buddy.
It's like a local play.
Ad hoc.
Yeah. No, not whatever Kevin said.
Okay.
No, but I got really into playing it with my buddy Edgar, and that month that we played it, I got more into Tetris than I've ever been in my entire life. And yes, Rocket Sauce was the second guest on that show, and I was very happy to have you. Thank you, Ryan. You were a fantastic guest. Did you guys play Tetris DS?
Oh yeah, I love that game. It's one of the best. It's beating my top 5 easy on the DS, maybe top 5 handheld games.
Yeah, it's up there. I think I might put it in my top 5 of DS games as well. It was really fun.
Do you remember doing the high score challenge for that too?
Oh, did we do the high score? I don't remember. We did. That was back when we were doing the high score challenge on Cartridge Club, which I believe was started by Kevin and Richard.
Richard's thing, yeah.
Oh, that's Richard's thing. Okay.
Do you remember who had the high score for that?
Was it you, Matt Bandy?
Nope.
Who was it?
It was my wife.
Oh, really?
This was the only interaction she'd ever had with the club ever at all. And she loves Tetris. She's almost like a Tetris savant, and she was obsessed with it that month. And it was funny to see her kind of getting involved in that and wanting to beat the score. And yeah, she got a ridiculous score. That
beat my score. Yeah.
yeah.
And I really tried when it came to picking the games, and I tried to have as much variety as possible every season. I look at it and try not to just fill it with, the same stuff over and over. And I definitely wanted to show some love to puzzle games, plus just explore stuff that I had never played before. And this was one of those games that I'd always heard about. Everybody talked about that it was one of the best Tetris games. And so, yeah, super glad I played it. I completely forgot that your wife did to beat my score. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Really good. The third game we played was notable for two reasons. It was the first appearance of one Mr. Matt Bandy as the special guest. And it was possibly my least favorite game we played in all of CC Portable. And that was Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars.
Yeah.
Wasn't a fan of this one. You remember this one, Matt? What?
I do. Yeah, I played it on the PSP. And it was the first time I'd ever played a GTA game. And
me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that's a good introduction to the Grand Theft Auto franchise.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back on it. Yeah, I remember the story being weird and the weird faces that were talking but had strange, the lips wouldn't move, but there would be dialogue, and it was
that was like PS1 style.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just kind of average.
Yeah, I think we did our best to try and sound like it was a worthwhile game. I don't really remember. That was so early on.
I had more fun doing like the little tattoo rhythm game on it than I did playing the whole game.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
I like that game. I played it on the DS though.
I think I played it on the DS as well. Oh, you played it on the PSP, didn't you, Andy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe it's a pretty well game. It just was not for me.
That's super.
That's Kevin's like, yep. Nothing more to say about Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars.
Well, I was just playing some Grand Theft Auto 5 before, like earlier today, and I just love that series. I love like the sense of humor and everything in it. It just like a lot of the stuff that they do in those games is inspired from 70s crime stuff and that. Like a lot of their stories and characters and threads and like you just put on like the old 70s radio and drive around in those games. And I don't know, I really like them. And I thought, like, for what a portable system could do at the time, Chinatown Wars did it as best as it could, bringing that handheld.
I mean, it's notable for being the, I think it was the first Grand Theft Auto game on a Nintendo console, if I remember.
I think it's the only one that's on a Nintendo console.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Which is why I wanted to play it. I am interested. I've always wanted to check out the other portable Grand Theft Autos on the PSP, like Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories, I believe, is on the PSP. Haven't gotten around to them, but I know those are more in line with the GTA 3, 4, 5 style.
Just stay away from the PlayStation 2 versions of those games because
is it not good?
The frame rate is just atrocious.
Okay.
15 frames. Like it's really, really bad.
Yeah, no bueno. Hello, Julian Vega.
Oh,
graduate
for joining us,
Julian Vega.
That is correct. Yes, congratulations. Just got his degree in I don't know, neurosurgery or something. I forget.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah. Moving on to the fourth game, Mega Man ZX. I love Mega Man games, and there's surprisingly there might be more Mega. I think this is a fact. I think there's more Mega Man handheld games than there are console games because of the Battle Network games and the Zero franchise. There's a ton, and ZX is kind of, I don't know, feels a little lost in a shuffle, or at least it did 3 years ago. That was a lot of fun. Game Buzz Mark was a guest on that show. Fun game. You guys have anything to add about Mega Man ZX?
Yeah, I'd never heard of that series until you said we're going to play it for the show. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it too.
I actually think the sequel, Mega Man ZX Advent, is superior. So if you were to only play one, I would check out the sequel. Number 5 was Resident Evil Revelations. This was our first October game. You know, we always did a Halloween game or a scary game, whatever, for October. And this game was notable because it was, I believe, the last appearance ever of the guest, Lo Burton. And to this day, I don't think anybody knows what the F happened to Lo after this. We had Lo, she used to go by the handle Nintendo on Twitter, and we had some interaction on the Cartridge Club Prime, talking about I forget what it was, Crash Bandicoot or Resident Evil, some game we were on there together, and you know we had good chemistry. But we go ahead, Kevin.
Resident Evil 4. She was on the Resident Evil 4 show of CC Prime, and she trashed the game. And you're a big fan of that game.
Yeah, and so we had
rivalry was born right there.
A rivalry was born, but we had great chemistry. I thought like it was fun, and so I wanted to bring her back on the show to talk about another Resident Evil game, see if I could change her mind, and she did, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, and then poof, gone, never to be seen again. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
She just had enough of us. I get it.
But weird, right? Like,
well, sometimes I have enough of you people, and I'm ready to pull in a Nintendo. But
I'll tell you, I feel like I've always wondered: is it something that I did or said, or like?
No.
A part of me just feels like because it was right after that she disappeared. I was like, man, I hope I didn't offend her or something. Like, I've always kind of sat with that, and I know it's probably silly, but a little part of me is like, I don't know. I just feel like I contribute leaving the internet for some reason. But she had a website. I don't even know if her website's still up.
Yeah,
it used to be, and then she games.
That's right.
Yeah, big mystery. We miss you, Lo. If you're out there, we miss you. Yeah, bummer.
The website's still there. It just hasn't been updated since October 5th, 2017.
Exactly, which October was when she was on for this game.
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing happened to her.
Yeah, I hope she's all right. I would rather it be she left for whatever reason than something happened to her. So, hope you're out there. Hope you're safe, Lo. But that's when I think about Resident Evil Revelations, it's like all I think about. I don't even F the game.
It's a good game. I enjoyed it.
It is a good game, and you should play it.
I did.
That was the first Resident Evil game I played.
The first? Wow.
The very first?
Very first, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Have you gone on to play the other ones since?
Nope, that's it.
You have no interest, huh?
Well, I've never really had consoles that played those games, so that was my Wow. I had some friends in high school or in college who had it on PlayStation, and I remember watching them play it, but I never played it myself. So that was a first for me too.
Yeah.
Well, you should definitely play some more Resident Evil games. They're great.
You can play. You got the PSP. You can play the PS1 games on that.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Wow. Yeah. There's not a lot of Resident Evil handheld games. Actually, one game that I always wanted to play for CCPortable we never got to was Resident Evil Gaiden. You guys ever play that?
No, I know of it, but no, it's not an easy game to come by either. I
actually brought it with me on this trip that
really?
I'm on right now that I've gotten stuck on, and I did play it and I beat it. I'd like to remind anyone who's joining us, this was actually also this month was CCPortable Mania. You could play whatever game you wanted, and I actually played a couple games. I played Super Mario Land 2, which we can talk about in a bit, and I played Resident Evil Gaiden. And it's really strange. Are you guys familiar with it?
I think somebody do a video on it. I can't remember who, but I remember it not being exactly Resident Evil.
Was it on the GBA?
I was on the Game Boy Color originally.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've only ever heard of it and remember just thinking, oh, it's weird that that was out on a Game Boy Color.
It's really odd, but for adapting Resident Evil to a Game Boy Color, I thought they did a bang up job. Really, really interesting. The combat system is really bizarre. You almost go into like a first person view with a little, like when you're playing a golf game and you got the little slider at the bottom going back and forth. That's kind of how you shoot in Gaiden. And you want to hit, there's like a little kind of like pinpoint that you want to get close to hit them and get a direct hit or, strong hit. Really interesting. Pretty fun game. But one thing, I'm going to spoiler alert for anybody who's never played it. The end of the game, the star of the game is Leon Kennedy, right? At the end of the game, you come to find out that Leon has been turned into a bio weapon or whatever they call it. He's basically infected with one of the viruses, and they've never brought that up. I don't know if that's canon in the Resident Evil series, but that's kind of a big deal in my book. So sorry, spoiler alert if anybody hasn't played it. So got that going for you. We played Patapon. After that. It was a rhythm game. I wanted to do a rhythm game. Game Buzz Sean was my guest on that one. That is the first CC Portable game I never finished, and I still haven't finished it yet. I liked it. Not for me. Either of you play it?
Yeah, I played it. I love rhythm games, so this was definitely a different take on a rhythm game with the fighting element. Mostly like rhythm games that I played were like music related. So this had like some RPG elements and a little more strategy to it. But I played it on the PSP, and I got to a point in the game where it was a rhythm a specific rhythm you had to do to call down like some bigger weapon, and every time, I think it was something that was like a glitch in the game that I had, it would kind of skip, so I could never physically do the rhythm correctly, so it would screw up every single time, and I couldn't get past whatever level it was because of that, so I couldn't finish the game. But and that's something I haven't gone back to or gotten another copy, but it was fun, and I think they did a sequel to it that I never checked out. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was like couldn't do it, couldn't get past that part because of whatever was wrong.
Yeah. I enjoyed it too. They actually did 2 sequels to it. There's a 2 and a 3. All 3 came out on the PSP. I never finished it either. I could not. I hit a wall. I generally don't like rhythm games. I even can't stand it when games wedge in like a rhythm game section in it because I'm having fun with the game, and then it forces me to do a rhythm game thing. But the RPG elements in that really had me invested in that game. But yeah, it got to a point where it just got too difficult, and I couldn't move on. And then I started playing Patapon 2, and it's like, oh, this is pretty much this. They didn't really do too much to change it up, I found.
Was that exclusive to the PSP?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I believe, unless there's like a PS4 version or something I don't know about. But at the time, yeah, they were all just PSP games. Made by Sony too, at one of their branches.
Matt, is someone building a kitchen behind you or something?
Yeah, my daughter is building a kitchen.
Okay, just making sure. Sounds amazing. Sounds like it's going to be a really good kitchen. After that, we played Kirby's Dream Land, the first one. Very fun game. This was great because my guest was Luke from Retro Nonsense. I got one of the Retro Nonsense crew on there, which actually Luke was on there before Duke. So a little factoid. He was a great guest. Very fun game. I think we all can agree Kirby's Dream Land is kind of a must play for the Game Boy.
Absolutely. Matt, he either doesn't like the game or he's angry at his daughter.
Oh, he muted himself. Good call, Matt. After that, we played. Okay,
I like the game.
Okay, he likes the game. Great, thank you. We played Metroid Prime Pinball after that. And hello, speaking of the Q Dogs, Mighty Q Dog has joined the chat. This game was fantastic, and my guest was Mrs. Q Dog. I can't get enough of this game. I don't know if I would put it in a top 5 as like you must own this for the DS, but it might be in my top 5 for DS games. I absolutely adore this game. I think it's so fun. And I think we even did a high score challenge on this one. There we go. Matt's back. If I remember correctly. Matt, you got something to say? You
I got the high score.
Yeah, you knew it. You son of a gun.
I was so skeptical when this game, you said we were going to play this, because I'm not really a fan of, I love pinball, but like I'd never played any virtual pinball that I liked. And I went crazy on this game. We were playing. I went down to visit you while we were playing this game, and you were still at work, and I stayed outside your apartment for like at least a couple hours. I got there early and just played Metroid Prime Pinball.
Crazy. Yeah, really fun game.
Yeah.
Especially if you can get the, it's supposed to come with the Rumble Pack for the DS, or DS Lite. And yeah, I can't, this one was, when I think back of all the games we played at Metroid Prime or on CC Portable, this was up there for me.
There was kind of a steep learning curve to that game, to where once you figure out what to do and get a feel for it, it really opens the game up. And I love that there was like a boss battle, and there was kind of like almost a pseudo ending to the game. Yeah. And I forget who, there was somebody else that whether it was Rocket Sauce or somebody, we were going back and forth on scores. And yeah, I even kept it open overnight, or I kept the DS on overnight to keep my game going, because I had a good game going and it was time for me to go to bed, but didn't finish it. So I woke up. This was at your place too, and I woke up immediately in the morning and just started playing again. I love that game.
Good times. We had some good times back then. Before madness, when are we get to have another slumber party, Matt Andy?
Soon, I hope.
Yeah. Kevin, you ever gonna come down? You want to, you can join the California crew with Matt Bandy and Chris Roberts and I.
Get a president, a different president, so it's safer for us Canadians.
Why you got to make it political, Kevin? We're just talking about slumber parties, man.
Good question. I answered it the best I could. That's all I got to say.
Well, we're in 3 different countries right now.
Yeah,
it's true.
Between the 3 of us, how crazy is that? Okay, well, slumber parties, we'll table that for the moment, because man, this next game, can't wait to talk about it. Metroid Fusion, and this was the first time that I didn't like the guest I had. I thought, oh, look at that, Matt Bandy's got, man, those look so sexy. Look at
Kevin's leaving.
Kevin's leaving finally. Good. Everybody's showing off their Metroid. Who's got the better one?
Oh, mine for sure, because mine has this big sticker on the back of it. There you go.
Yours says something different up top too.
Yeah, it's like the French. Is it the Canadian version or?
Right, so I get the Canadian version.
Obviously the American
Gameboy Advance. Yeah,
I like my Canadian versions. Thank you very much. People get really upset that there's French on everything Canadian, but I'm like, hey, that makes it unique, right?
Ours usually have Spanish, so
makes it a variant. I have a variant.
Well, I'm jealous because I don't have any Metroid Fusions to show you. But no, Kevin, this was the first time you were on CC Portable. Do you have any memory? You're a big Metroid guy.
I am. I love my Metroid, and it's a fun game. It's a good game. I think Zero Mission is better, and I think we'll get to that in a bit. But this is definitely a game worth playing, and it's a lot of fun. And I had fun playing it on CC Portable.
Yeah. Actually, before we move on, this was the first time I did a Who Do You Love poll. This was the February game. And I always like to do a Who Do You Love, that George Thorogood song. I would pit Samus against Zelda, because there's a ton of games for both, and I wanted to see who would win between the two. And Samus won this first one, and then Metroid Fusion, I think, for whatever reason, was the game that we chose. But that's interesting because we'll get back to that in a little bit. Then we moved into our very first March Madness, which was probably my favorite month of the year. Every time we did CC Portable, it was, instead of playing just one game, I would give you a system and you could play anything on that system. And I probably should have been a little bit more specific with this first one, but whatever. I was still figuring it out. It was anything on the DS or the 3DS. That's almost like two systems. So you get the big library there. But that was a lot of fun. Had Chris Roberts on and got a lot of interaction from everyone in the Cartridge Club. I think that's why I liked it the most, is it felt like it was almost like a clip show. You got everyone chiming in from the Cartridge Club. Really fun. Glad we did that. After that, we played Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Gear. I think it's the one and only Game Gear game we ever played. And Mighty Q Dog was the guest on that episode. And that was probably just objectively the worst game that we played on CC Portable. Did either of you play that one?
I did. I played it on I think I downloaded it for my 3DS. And did anyone actually play it on the Game Gear, or did everyone play like a?
I wanted to. But that I had just recently gotten a Game Gear, and I didn't realize that the capacitors were out on it. So I wasn't able to play it. I had to get it on my 3DS as well. But yeah, it's basically just the Master System version of the first Sonic the Hedgehog, which I guess isn't terrible. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the worst game we played.
Well, it was. I remember it was zoomed in. Like,
oh, that's the problem with the Game Gear.
Yeah, far enough ahead of you, and so you can see what was coming.
A lot of blind jumps.
Fast.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I think Mighty Q Dog's upset that we're trashing the game that he was on. Well, he's a big Sega guy. He's the big Sega aficionado of this us Cartridge Clubbers. Sorry, I got an itch on my butt. I just got to itch this really quick.
Oh, on your butt, okay.
Dude. It's like right above the crack. It's kind of like the top. You know, it's like if I had a whale tail or that is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
You know, okay. Nobody can see this, so feel free.
I thought, aren't people watching this? Huh?
I don't think they're really watching it. They have us on the second screen while they're doing something else, right?
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, let me itch my nuts. Oh, there we go. And then to cap off season 1 of Cartridge Club Portable, we played Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney on the DS, and Shelby from Bonus Barrel was my guest. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever play another Phoenix Wright game. It was fun, but wasn't really my jam. It's kind of like a visual novel type game. A lot of reading. I don't like my portable games to have too much reading in them. You know, it's supposed to be kind of pick up and play, but it was a fun game. I know Shelby really loves the Phoenix Wright games.
It's got to be a balance. I think. I don't know. There's something about like I play. I think you're going to talk about this 999, and
yeah, we'll get to that.
Really invested me because of the story. But something like Phoenix Wright, it wasn't a story that compelled me. You know. Yeah,
I agree. And that was season 1.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, you did. Sorry, Matt Bannister.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, go ahead. Please regale us with all of your love you want to show Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, no, I do it. I enjoy that series. I think that sometimes they can run a little bit long, especially that first one. But I think the first one's kind of almost like it added something on to it that wasn't originally part of the game. But I've always liked point and click adventures, and I thought that was a fun series.
By the way, Curtis, Rocket Sauce is asking you to smell your fingers.
I did. Actually, I smelled the wrong ones.
Oh.
That was what I was scratching with. Oh, gosh. What is that?
Probably see a doctor.
Probably. Hey, got the NHS over here, man. National Health Service. Don't have to worry about health insurance over here. Oh, I'm giving away where I am. I'm in London. I'll just say it. I'm in London right now. Did I say that before?
I'm not sure.
I'm in jolly old England. Jolly old England. Okay, so before we move on to season 2, Kevin had a really great idea. He wanted to talk about the top 3 games we didn't ever play on CC Portable that you wanted to play. So
Nice.
Matt Bandy, I know you're figuring this out for the first time. I'm going to let Kevin go first because he I think he's already got them pulled up.
I got my props here ready to go for all the people who are watching.
And feel free to leave a comment, anybody who's watching, and we'll give you a shout out, stuff you want to play.
What game did CC Portable not get to at this point? So number 3 on my list, the third top game that you never got to on CC Portable. I was hoping they would. And I know like Curtis is not a fan of this series, but I was hoping if he played this game, he might actually get into it. And that is on the Game Boy. I don't know if you can see that. Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, which for me, this is the best handheld version of the original Castlevania games, like the old NES ones. The first Castlevania, like everything that Curtis complains about with Castlevania games, that's Castlevania Adventure. That's the first Castlevania game. Like everything's too slow and really awkward and that. But this game, they really they enhanced it. Like it's refined it. I think it's excellent. And then the third game is just way too expensive. It's crazy. So never got to that one.
Let me just interject here really quick. It's so funny you should bring that up, Kevin, because that was actually one of my choices.
Oh, really?
Yes, because every year we always did for Halloween, for the October game, we always did a vote. Right. I always put some like spooky games up. Right. And I know that there was a section of CC Portablers that wanted to play a Castlevania game, and specifically one of the Game Boy ones. And I really want, because I have that game and I've never played it, but
you should play.
It never won the poll, so that was actually one of mine too. So maybe I'll have to think of something else. But continue.
There have been other Castlevania games on the Game Boy Advance and on the DS, but I find those games, they're more like Metroidvania style games, and for me they're a little too deep for a handheld game. Like you get really lost with the map and all that stuff. I never could get into those. I really enjoyed just like the straight platformers for the handheld games anyways. Second on my list is a racing game on the PSP. Curtis, you did not do enough, if any, racing games on the PSP. And my number 1 would be Burnout Legends. So this was kind of like a greatest hits package of the first 3 games that came out on console. A lot of the same cars and same tracks. And it has crash mode on it. And I thought that would have been a lot of fun to get the high score thing going again, and having everyone play the Burnout game on the PSP. So that was my number 2.
Sorry, okay. I just have another thing. Had we done another season of CC Portable, the next next time we did a PSP game, it was going to be a racing game, and I wanted to do one of the Burnouts.
Well, Legends would be the one to do, because that one is like
good to know. Yeah, I know. I felt bad that we never did a racing game. I really wanted to do that. I felt like that was one of the genres that we never touched, but what can you do? We're done now.
Yeah. Okay. So the number 1 game, and I've mentioned this game to Curtis a few times. I think Duke has mentioned this game to you as well a few times. Unfortunately, now it is a super rare and expensive game to buy, which is really unfortunate. And it's exclusive to the Nintendo DS. And it's all unfortunate because I think it's one of those games that more people should play. And I wish it would come out on their eShop or something like that. More people get to play Retro Game Challenge, which is just a joy to play. It is based on a TV show in Japan that I think might still be on. And it's about this guy that hosts this TV show, and he actually takes kids and pulls them into games, and the kids have to play the game in order to get out of the TV and back home. Although a lot of times I don't know why they want to go back home. It seems like they're having a lot of game. But this game, believe it or not, it came out in 2007, I think. And this was like the first, the JRPG mini game in this game was the first JRPG I had ever played. And it actually gateway drug to JRPGs, because I never really got into them. I was like a computer guy and I was a computer kid, and there was a lot of like JRPGs was like Dungeons and Dragons, like roll the dice, create a character and all that stuff. And anytime I would just see numbers flying out of someone's head, I just like that's not a game for me. But this game forces you to play some different genres, and I started playing this. I'm like, what is this? What is this nice little gem of a game? I've never played anything like this. And so I went to look it up online, and it said this is like a Dragon Quest game, an early Dragon Quest game, and that was it. It opened up the floodgates, and the next thing I knew, I was rushing to play every Final Fantasy game before Final Fantasy 13 came out, and I owe it all to Retro Game Challenge. And there's a bunch of other fun stuff on here too. Like there's a shoot 'em up and all sorts of great things. I actually want to play it again now.
Well, fantastic choice. And I know that was on the poll in, I believe, season 1 somewhere when I was doing a lot more polls back then. Never got there. I would have loved to play it too. Never got to it. I actually recently just sold my copy of it. And not so much that I wanted to get rid of it. I mean, I was looking to kind of slim down the collection a little bit, and I wasn't really intending to sell that, but I kind of had it tucked in to make my DS stuff that I had for sale look a little bit better. And of course they chose that one. But I also did kind of want to get rid of it because, and this is really stupid, the spine of my game had a little sun fading on it. And otherwise the rest of the game was like perfect. But because the yellow on the spine was like a little faded, it drove me nuts. Couldn't handle it. So
you wanted an excuse to buy a pristine copy.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I mean, come on, you guys can you can understand that, right?
This game
I
has
understand.
Old school manuals with all like color photos and images, and it's such a cool little game. Like the guy, you play as these kids, and they're playing at the TV. They're at the TV, and then it's like the one kid will be like, "How do we get past this part? I don't know. Go to the shelf and get the whatever issue of Video Game Magazine, pull it off the shelf, and you look through to find the spot in the game to get through." And that it's such a great little game, and I wish that more people were able to play it.
Well, fantastic choice. Why don't we move into season 2, and then after we finish season 2, we'll get to you, Matt. You can go whatever you want.
Sure.
Just to shake it up a little bit. So season 2 of CC Portable. This was. Now I kind of started getting a little bit more experimental in season 2 of CC Portable. I started really picking games from my collection that I had owned for a long time and never played, which was a lot of what we're about to talk about. We started with Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I had played this. I always liked to start each season with kind of like a heavy hitter, great game. And so why not Link's Awakening? Our guest was NES Complex. I don't think there's much to be said about this game that we don't already know. It's a fabulous game. You should play it if you haven't. Throw it to you guys.
I played the DX version, so it had an extra castle or extra dungeon. Rather.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed to say I've never actually finished it. I got really far in it though, and then I lost my save. So now it's one of those games I have to gear myself up to go back and start from the beginning. But yeah, it would easily be in my top 5, if not top 3, Game Boy games for sure.
Oh, yeah, hands down. And then we played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Back to the Sewers. Really weird game to do on CC Portable. I know it was part of a poll I did. We were going to do a Ninja Turtles game for sure. And this was fun. I remember I had people just vote on their favorite turtle. And I had secretly attached a game to each turtle, and depending on which turtle won was the game we were going to play. So it was kind of random, and I want to say Donatello won the poll, which I did not expect. I really thought it was going to be Raphael or Michelangelo. I knew Leonardo wasn't going to win, but anyway, Donatello won, and this was what we played. And I actually had Billy from the Game Chasers on as my guest. That was a neat get. I felt so bad for him though. The one story I have from this that you might not know is Billy had just had, I didn't realize this, he had just had a baby. Well, not him, but his wife or whatever. Just had a baby like within the last month or within the month of us doing that. And so he was in that new father, getting no sleep, kind of delirious, kind of sick state, you know, and I just want to send a shout out and a thank you to him. I kind of found that out afterwards when we were talking about after we did the podcast, and I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, like, cause I was really, hey, you ready to go? You good to go? And you know how you kind of hound people like, hey, okay, just making sure you're still on for this. Anyway, he came through. It was fun. And that's my TMNT 2 story. Weird game. Pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
There's a lot of, actually, the Ninja Turtles have a pretty good track record with portable games. There's quite a few of them, and they're almost all pretty good. They're either like good to really good, but there's not really many bad Ninja Turtle games out there on portable systems.
As I'll just add, Curtis, your audience is mostly nerds, and the nerds love Donatello.
I guess so. Who's your guys' favorite turtles?
Donatello. I'm a nerd.
Really?
Yeah.
Bandy?
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. See, growing up, I was always a Raphael guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was always a jerk.
Well, he's cool but cruel. I don't know. I think because I kind of grew up watching the movie, and he's kind of the star of the movie. He's the turtle that gets the most, and so I think that really influenced my decision on that growing up.
Donatello was always the best character to play in video games, so too, because he had the reach.
Got the range.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree, definitely. After that, we played Elite Beat Agents. So we played another rhythm game. I had my guest was Marmal, aka 5-Game Suicide. Really, this game kind of came out of nowhere. This ended up being really fun, and I got into it. It's a very stylus heavy game on the DS, but I dug it. You guys got anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like rhythm games, but I guess it's the RPG thing or something like that. But it's another one that I was invested in for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I love this. I love this game. I'd actually played it previous to CC Portable, but I actually played through to the finish on this one. And actually, when you beat it, it unlocks harder levels too. And that game was no joke. And I forget what song towards the end. God, I hate that song too. And it was just like insult to injury because I kept on having to listen to it and play, and I couldn't beat it. And oh my God, it was one of the last songs.
Was it Rolling Stones? Was it like Paint It Black or something?
No, there was a Rolling Stones song on there, but
I think Paint It Black. I remember like the third or second to last song, just like it was so hard.
Yeah.
I had to replay it over and over and over again.
What I found, it would sometimes they would some of the rhythms that you would have to play weren't like the ones that you thought you like. They would be like, it would pick up like a bass line or a drum line instead of like the main like vocal track or like the guitar riffs and stuff. So it would kind of jump from different things, and I thought that was neat. But yeah, God, that was a fun game. But whatever song that was at the end, that drove me nuts.
By the way, Rocket Sauce corrected me. It's Raphael is cool but rude. Oh, right, because that rhymes with Michelangelo is a party dude. I'm an idiot.
Nerd.
I'm an idiot. Thanks, Rocket Sauce. Gargoyles Quest. That was the next game. And my guest was Chris R. Gargoyles Quest, fun game. The only story I have for this was the Elite Beat Agents, I believe, was chosen. That was I had everybody put their names who wanted to submit a game in a hat, and I randomly picked, and whoever got picked, that was the game we were playing. And I had Chris R had submitted himself, and I forgot to put his name in the hat. And so he called me out on it, and I said, well, I'm going to make it up to you, buddy. The next month, I believe that was September, was Gargoyles Quest. I said, next month is Chris R month, baby. And we're just dedicating the whole month to you. And we played his game, which was Gargoyles Quest. And it was a lot of fun. And that was how we played Gargoyles Quest. You guys, did you guys ever play the Gargoyles Quest game?
Not before the show, no. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Clearly, we have lots to talk about with Gargoyles Quest. We played Luigi's Mansion after that. That was our October game of that month. I was surprised that won the poll that month. It really ran away. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I should clarify, for the 3DS. And Duke was finally on CC Portable. Had a lot of fun. Turns out, I like Luigi's Mansion. Not as big of a fan as I thought I would be. This game is very repetitive. Very repetitive.
This was one of the few CC Portable games that I actually didn't play.
You son of a gun.
I apologize. It's my dirty little secret.
I kind of have the same. Maybe Mars, you can chirp in on this one. It reminded me a lot of New Ghostbusters 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's very similar. You go, you catch ghosts, and I have the same problem with that game. In that, I think it's awesome, and it's like the best, or one of the better Ghostbusters games out there. I don't want to say it's the best because I haven't played the newfangled, the 2009 one, which I hear is the best. I actually have that waiting for me at home. I bought it right before I left, and I didn't play it, and I didn't bring it with me, and I cannot wait to get home and play it.
It's the third movie, man.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. I'm so jazzed. I got it on the Switch. Is it supposed to be good on the Switch?
I don't know. Nothing's good on the Switch, according to me. So
okay, Kevin, get out. You're off the show.
I had the Switch for 6 months. I played one game. That was it. Yeah, no, I understand. It's the best Luigi's Mansion for me is that Nintendo Land, the segment in Nintendo Land on the Wii U, where you sort of play Luigi's Mansion with other people. The same idea where you got as many ghost hunters as you want, like 2 to 4, and then somebody's the ghost and runs around as the ghost. And that to me is like that gameplay mechanic works really well in that setting. But just playing on your own, it does. Like I felt that way about the GameCube game, and Sarah bought the 3DS game, and I only played it for a few minutes, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It works. It's just kind of dull. It's like the same thing over and over again.
Mighty Q Dog, I want to point out, his favorite Ninja Turtle is Leonardo. And Eric, man, what's wrong with you? Leonardo is nobody's favorite Ninja Turtle. You would pick Leonardo. That's like, hey, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite of the Mystery Machine Scooby-Doo gang? And you're like, Fred. Fred's the best. Clearly, he's the leader. He's the leader of the group.
Who's your favorite video game developer? Sega.
Yeah. He's just a contrarian. He can't pick the obviously like better and popular ones.
Yeah.
That's Mighty Q Dog. He says he was also the farthest left controller on the arcade game, which is why I played it. What does that have to do with anything? Do you only play on like the farthest left controller on the arcade? Like I suppose that's what you normally play as. I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever. Leonardo's lame.
He's completely stoked that he commented at all.
After Luigi's Mansion, we played God of War, Ghosts of Sparta. I was a big fan. This was on the PSP. Musty Hobbit was my guest. I was a big fan of the first God of War game on the PSP, Chains of Olympus. And so I was interested in playing this. Fun fact, these were the only God of War games I've ever played. I've only ever played the PSP ones. I really want to play the console versions, but I've never owned... I had a PS3 for a little bit, but I've never owned a PS4 or PS2, so I've never been able to. I really do want to. I think they look really fun.
Well, the PSP games do the console version justice of those original games, not so much like the new one, that's just a completely different game. But yeah, those original ones transported really well onto the PSP. And both, I love both. Both are fun.
Really fun. One of the few games too that I want to complete on hard mode. It's very rare that I play a game and I'm like, I liked that so much, I don't want to play it on the hardest difficulty I can. Mm-hmm. And that was one of those games. I really had a lot of fun doing the combos with all the chains of Athena or whatever you call them. That was really fun. After that, Mr. Matt Bandy came roaring back to CC Portable to join me and be a guest as we played the Capcom Classics Collection for the PSP. So 2 PSP games in a row. This was really fun. It was a collection. If you're not familiar with this game, it's basically a bunch of old Capcom arcade games in a compilation. I want to say there's like 20 games or so.
There was a lot, yeah.
A lot of, and really, boy, runs the gamut from like crappy to great.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. Do you remember any games specifically off that one?
I remember spending way too much time on some awful games for some reason, just because I tried to like go through every single game and review every single game, or at least give every single game a star rating on that. And it was a pretty daunting task. And there was like Black
Tiger.
Oh my gosh, that was
terrible.
So bad. I played it for so long, and I don't know why I did, but it was awful, and I just kept playing it. But what was that game? It was kind of like was it like a card game? Or like
Quiz and Dragons.
Yes. That was kind of the standout, the weird one that
I agree.
Yeah.
I always thought that would be the weirdest game to come across in an actual arcade. It's basically a board game where you answer trivia questions in between. Really, like not much of a game at all. You could probably beat the game on 1/4 if you were smart enough. But yes, that was probably my favorite game on there. And if you're ever looking, I used it a lot on Cartridge Club would do like the ABC challenge where you try and play one game for each letter of the alphabet. Great Q game. If you need to knock off, because there's not a lot, unless you're playing Quackshot on the Genesis or Kicks, there's not a lot of Q games. Great Q game to knock off. Here's a hot take I have that I learned from the Capcom Classics Collection. I think arcade games get too much love. People look back on them so fondly, and there's a lot of great arcade games out there. Don't get me wrong, the fighting games, the Galaga, all that stuff. But you really realize when you play one of these collections, because I was in the same boat as you, I was trying to beat every game. You really realize how cheap these games are and how they're designed to make you keep pumping quarters.
Yeah, and that was one of my. I remember writing that down, like thinking like that. Yeah, arcade games are. I think they're seen through rose-colored glasses because when you're a kid, maybe you play a quarter or two and then you're done. Like, oh man, that was fun. I wish I could play more. But if you actually spend time in it, like, man, that's cheap as hell. It's like it's just designed to suck quarters, and they definitely get. Yeah.
After that, we played Shantae, the very first Shantae. This was a collaboration. I know CC Prime played Shantae and the half Genie Hero, I think. And we played the first Shantae on the Game Boy Color. And my guest was James, a.k.a. Retro Pixel. Very fun. He's a big Shantae fan. Good game. I don't think it's worth the money that it goes for. I think you should... It's fun to play. I actually think the best Shantae game, if you were going to just jump into this series for the first time, the third one, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, is the one you should play. That's all I got to say about that. You guys got
that Shantae game going for? Isn't it like a couple of hundred or something?
I think loose it's like 400 maybe. I don't know. I might be going a little bit overboard. That might be like with box, but it's not cheap at all. It was a very late released game, and it didn't sell very well. So what can you do?
To be fair, I don't think any game is worth that much.
No.
I don't think I ever got $400 worth out of any game.
Yeah, I liked that game quite a bit, and it was pretty for a Game Boy Color game. It was pretty deep as far as what all you can do in it, and there was almost like a little rhythm game in that too, where you had to do the certain dances to change into whatever animal.
Yeah.
You had to input the right. You had to do like the real little belly dance.
Yeah, which they get rid of in the Pirate's Curse,
Mhm.
or they change. I remember Pirate's Curse was more of a Metroidvania
Mhm.
style than the original, and Half Genie Hero is more in line with the original Shantae. Something, yeah. I don't remember. By the way, before we go any further, I didn't really ask you guys. Are you guys good to go for a while longer? I don't know if you guys are on any time constraints, but
Nope.
Okay,
I'm okay.
cool.
Can I just say
No.
about the Capcom collection, because I didn't
Yeah.
get just one thing. The one
Yeah.
thing I thought was really neat about that collection is if you were playing one of those scroller shooters like the 1942 or 43, that you could put the
Mhm.
vertically like that, and then you could play with the stick on.
Yeah.
I thought that was really.
Didn't you still have to use the top buttons though to shoot, right?
Yeah, you had to hold it like this, which
Yeah.
is kind of dumb, but it was cool to have it like
Mhm.
show up a full screen like that.
Yeah, the fact that they added that, because I don't know if you guys in the arcade, some of these games had these weird long screens, these shooters, you know. So yeah, that was a cool, neat feature. Then we played Kid Icarus Uprising. I know Rocket Sauce has probably been hanging around just to hear me talk about that game because he was my guest on that as well. This game I really dug, but I still haven't finished it. The levels are insanely long in it. But I dug it. It's fun. It's a weird game. Weird game.
I gotta be honest. I gotta tell you, I tuned into that episode with my fingers crossed, just getting ready for you guys to trash that game, and to find out that you didn't, kind of it disappointed me.
You don't like it?
I hate it.
Really?
You got to have a device to play it. I picked it up because Nintendo was getting rid of its points. Remember when they had points?
Right.
When you fill a little survey, you'd get points. And they stopped giving out physical things. Like they used to give out like a little calendar or whatever. They just stopped. They said, no, you can only get games now. And I started going through the game. The only game I didn't have was this Kid Icarus one. And my points were going to expire in that. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take this Kid Icarus game. And I got, and it was dumb with the stylus, and you had to aim with the stylus, and I didn't like it. And they're like, oh, well, just get this stand. Go out there and get the stand. Like, where can I get the stand now? Like, they don't sell the stand separately or anything like that. I thought about making a stand, and I was like, I'm not going to make a stand just to play this game. So I'm done.
I'm surprised you got that through Nintendo. You got the game, so you got it new.
Yeah, it not a physical copy though, digital. It was digital.
Oh, digital. Gotcha. Yeah, because the physical copy of the game came with the stand. That's how you got the stand.
But if you bought it digitally, where are you going to get the stand?
I know that does suck. But I'll tell you what, man, that stand really does help.
Like, if you want to play a handheld game, you want to be sitting back playing a handheld game. You're on the bus or whatever. You're not going to be like scrolls,
It's not it's not. And we talk about that. It's not a good pick up and play game for that reason. But I really dug the game. It's weird, but I like it. It's a fun rail shooter game with a weird control scheme. It's a 3DS. It's one of those stylus heavy games.
It's not execution's not there. It's just not there.
Fair enough. Then we did March Madness 2018. I think, yes. And we did, or maybe it was 2019. I don't remember. Game Boy Advance was the one we did. That was a lot of fun. And actually, I had you two were my guests.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Mr. Matt Bandy and Kevin.
Wow. Well, here we are again.
Here we are again.
That one I played a bunch of games for that one. I made like the little bracket.
That was so cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, where I pitted games against each other, and yeah, that was fun.
I think I played Turtles on the Game Boy Advance. I think that was my game. TMNT it was called.
Oh, yes. You played TMNT.
Right.
Yeah.
It was good. Good game.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. There's a lot of good Ninja Turtles games.
Yep.
I think Drill Dozer, was that the one that I think that was the name of it.
Yeah, it was between Drill Dozer and what was the other one? It was some other weird one. Mr. Driller. right? Because they were very similar, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, but they're like I think Drill Dozer was like the one that actually won the.
I think you started them together. You started Mr. Driller and Drill Dozer, and Drill Dozer was the one that made it all the way to the finals. Yeah, very fun. That was a good one. I look back and I kind of dropped the ball because that was that was 2019, March Madness 2019, because that was the 30th anniversary of the original Game Boy. And I kind of dropped the ball. I should have done that to celebrate the anniversary, but whatever. It's my show. Screw off. Get off my back, no one. After that, we played Thor for the DS, and Church, aka the Game Grinder, was my guest. This was a surprisingly fun game. Flawed, but fun. It's a beat 'em up game that utilizes the dual screen pretty cool in a cool way, but way too long. Like the levels are way too long for a beat 'em up. It needs to take a page out of Turtles in Time book and slim it down, man. It needs to go on a diet, that game.
Fun fact, this is one of the few DS games that I played through twice. I played through it before CCPortable, and then when CCPortable was playing it, I played it again.
So you dig it?
Yeah, I do. I like it a lot. And get it now while you can, because I think it's an exclusive to the DS, and I think it's like one of those hidden gems that might go up in price because it is
really.
They only had like the one. A lot of people are aware of it, right? Because it's a tie-in with the Marvel movie, and most times those games are not very good.
Are you familiar? Did you know anything about the Captain America game that came out for the DS? Is that any good? Do you know?
I don't think so. I don't know anything about it, but
yeah. Well, isn't Thor? Wasn't that? Was that a Way Forward game, or it's like Way Forward adjacent, something like that?
No, I think it is a Way Forward game.
Way Forward, yeah, really good game. Hidden gem. I would label that a hidden gem on the DS. And speaking of hidden gems, I think this next game is a hidden gem. That was Lilo and Stitch, which was the last game that we played for season 2. Ramvox. The one and only time I managed to get him on CCPortable, but that was a great episode and a really fun game if you've never played it. I actually have the sequel, and I haven't played that yet, but I really want to.
The sequel's a bit of a different game. It's not.
Is it worse or better? Sorry, I missed you. What'd you say?
The second game is a little bit different than the first game. It's not the.
Is it better or worse?
It's not as good.
Not as good.
No.
Okay, good to know. Okay, and that wraps up season 2. Bandy, I'm gonna shoot it to you. Do you want to give your top 3, or should I give mine? The ball's in your court, buddy.
Yeah, you can give. I got 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. I wouldn't know what a third one is, so go ahead.
Okay,
and,
I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do some research.
Well, I mean, I guess I kind of got 2 too, because my number 3 was going to be Castlevania 2: Belmont's Revenge, or a racing game. If I was going to go another racing game, I was actually going to go Mario Kart DS, because I think that game is amazing, really fun, holds up, and it's one of those games that you can play with only one card if you have someone else in the room. Of course, they can only race as Shy Guy, but really fun game, really tight. Lots of stuff to unlock for you collectathoners. My number 2 is going to be Contra 4, which very hard game, but very fun, and is maybe out of all the DS games we played, the best representation of using the dual screen, not just for like a map, but using it for the entire game and using it really well. Great game. And then my number 1, which I almost want to do just one more month just to play this game, because it's going to be like Donkey Kong, where CC Prime's never going to play it, is Starfox Command. You guys ever play that game? It's on the DS. It's kind of a hybrid between the range battles from Star Fox, which is like the boss fights where you're in, almost like a giant circle. You're not on a rail, and a strategy game. I don't even know what I would compare it to. Kind of like a very light tactics type game, but the end result is super fun and addictive. And I do not think I think that's the second best Star Fox game after Star Fox 64. Because I think Star Fox is a franchise that really only has like Star Fox 64. Considering how big Star Fox is, like Star Fox 64 is by and large the best game by far in that franchise. And it just, man, Nintendo, come out with a good Star Fox game on the Switch. You really dropped the ball with Zero, but Star Fox Command, fantastic.
I actually like Star Fox Adventures.
Really? I've never played that one. That's the one that's like the third person.
Yeah, it was supposed to be another game, and they said, "Oh, we better get one of our franchises involved in this because we're spending a lot of money on it. We need a known franchise tied into it." So they just put Star Fox in it, and I thought it was a fun game. It was fine.
Have either of you played Star Fox Command?
I hadn't even heard of it.
Oh, it's so good. Bandy, dude. Seriously, seek it out. It's not, I think you can get it for probably about like $15. Really good game. That's in American dollars, Kevin.
Yeah, it's at the Barry Game Exchange. It goes for a lot more than $15. I think I've seen it for $35. The cheapest, and it's always been too much more than I want to spend on it.
Well, if you find it for a good deal, pick it up. It's really fun. So why don't we move into season 3, the final season of CC Portable. This season, I think we got even more wacky with the game selection. Season 2 was a lot of games that had been sitting in my backlog, and this was where I started going to back to what people had suggested, or maybe taking inspiration from suggestions. But the first game we played was Batman for the Game Boy, and Trav from like 7 podcasts, Polykill, Drunk Friend,
network.
What's up?
He's just from the network.
There's the network, yeah.
From the network.
He's got a new podcast every day. It feels like, and literally, and I mean episode and actual podcast. Every day he's coming out with a brand new one. But Batman, really fun game. It's like Mega Man, but with Batman. Mm-hmm. And it's very fun. And the second to last level in that game is one of the hardest levels any platformer you will ever play.
Sorry.
I'm not frozen, by the way.
You cut out for me. It's the hardest game you'll ever play?
The second to last level of that game is one of the hardest platformer levels you will ever play.
Maybe if you're better at games.
Are you throwing shade, Matt Bandy?
Final episode. Everything's out the window.
Whoa.
Finally,
whoa. The truth comes out. Next, you're gonna rip off your Matt Bandy mask and be Low Burton. I've been Matt Bandy the entire time. This actually kicked off the Batman. Back to Batman. This kicked off a summer of platformers. I wanted to play a lot of platformers, and we followed it up with possibly my second least favorite game that we played in all of CC Portable. And it's not that it's a bad game. I was just really disappointed by this game. And that was Super Princess Peach for the DS. I played that with Catherine from Flock of Nerds. That game should be so much better. There's no reason. I mean, that's like basically a mainline Mario game, and they dropped the ball.
Yeah. It's a bit of an awkward game to play too. Like, you like female protagonist. Yes.
Yeah.
And one of her superpowers is that she cries.
Or gets angry.
Yeah. It's an awkward game to play for sure.
It is. It is awkward. Awkward misstep from Nintendo. We played Angry Video Game Nerd Adventures, I think, after that. Is that the full title? I played this with Chris Roberts. Awesome game. Mm-hmm. Really fun. If you're a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd, it is just chock full of references. And it's really a love letter to everything AVGN. Bang up job. There's actually a sequel, Assimilation. I haven't played that yet. I really want to check that out. But if you're looking for a very challenging, but not It's one of those games that's hard, but if you're not good at it, it's your fault. It's not the game's fault. It's one of those games. Really fun. You guys play that?
Yeah, and I don't know how you played it on a handheld, because I need a controller to play something like that. You need to be precise. I find you can't get that.
It might be one of those games. I can agree with you on that one. It's probably better and easier to control on a console. But really fun game. After that, we played our first shoot 'em up in CC Portable, and that was Nano Stray 2. Kind of out of left field with that one. I played it with Mighty Q Dog, and I remember being an okay game. What's fun about it is it bounces back and forth between vertical and horizontal shooting. But I wanted to ask you guys, there's a lot of shoot 'em up games out on portable consoles. Do you have like a favorite one, or one you would recommend? I have one that I played after I played Nano Stray 2 that I thought, man, this game is just perfect. Really good.
No, I'm not a big shoot 'em up shmup.
Yeah,
I play for like a few minutes, and then I get it out of my system.
There was a Way Forward game that I played during the March Madness, and I forget the name of it, but it was a mix of like a kind of a top-down Zelda, and you would go into these battles, like turn-based battles, but you would be in side-scrolling shoot 'em up. I forget the name of it.
Oh, I remember that too. I remember you talking about that. What the heck was that game?
No.
I don't remember. Go back and listen to the episode.
It was for the Game Boy. I'm pretty sure it's for the GBA, and
well, it would have had to have been. It was March Madness. I played. So there's two Gradius games on the original Game Boy. There's Nemesis, which is basically Gradius 2, I believe, and then there's Interstellar Assault. Interstellar Assault, which is the harder of the two to find, a little bit more spendy, not a whole lot. Amazing, man. Super polished, really fun. Cannot recommend it enough. Just go out and play that. Interstellar Assault. Also, a great eye game for your Cartridge game. Eye is another, can be a tough letter. Really fun. And then we got back to Mr. Matt Bandy in, I believe, September of 2019. We played 999, finally, which was one game that I had wanted to play for, I think both of us had wanted to play it since the inception of CC Portable. Matt Bandy, take it away.
I had held on to that one since the beginning. I think I bought that with the anticipation, oh, we'll probably play this. And so I was glad we finally did. But yeah, I enjoyed that game. It seemed to go on really, really long, and the story. I'm glad I got the ending that I did, because had I got the ending that you did, I don't think I could have played through that game 3 different times. It does go a little bit shorter, your second playthrough, but I every time I thought, okay, I'm getting at the end. And I think we talked about this on the podcast. I was like, okay, I'm at the very end. Okay, this is wrapping up. It's like 1:00 in the morning on a work night. I'm like, I gotta finish this thing. I'm doing the podcast tomorrow. And it's like, nope, you have to do a Sudoku puzzle. And I was like, oh my, you've got to be kidding me. So I went on the internet and just looked at because I can't, those number of logic problems like that, I'm just so bad at. And it was late. I'm like, there's no way in hell. So I just looked up the solution for it and then just finished it. But yeah, that was a fun game, and it was I like those mystery games, the point and click adventure stuff. So yeah, I'm glad we played that.
Yeah, me too. A little too much reading for my taste typically.
It's a lot of reading.
Yeah, but here's the thing: games that have multiple endings, I always seem to get like the worst ending. I used to suck at choose your own adventure books. I would always. I'm not kidding. I just am cursed with getting the worst. You know, you
Make
ever
better choices, Curtis.
apparently, and maybe that's why I'm where I am in life. Not very good at it. No, but did you ever play like Chrono Trigger? I got like the worst ending in that, where you fight the boss like way too early and you die, and that's the story of my life. I always get the worst ending. But yeah, this game was pretty fun.
I thought the point of it was that you're supposed to play like it several times to get the best ending. Like you had to.
You do to get the best ending. You have to play it twice.
Right.
At least.
At least twice. Yeah.
At least twice. Yeah.
That second time you play it, like you're going through different branches and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you do go through a lot of the same stuff.
Through it, like it's like okay.
Yeah, you can zip. Yeah, you can zip through it.
Nope, I just read it all.
Really?
I was
the first time I did, but not the second time. I zipped through it.
Very, very masochistic. I just forced myself to read through every single bit. No, I think I skipped it.
I had to.
Then we played for our final October game. We played Aliens Infestation. Now, this was not originally scheduled. It was supposed to be something else, I think, instead of this month. Oh, it was supposed to be Final Fantasy Adventure, which we never got to. But it ended up being Aliens Infestation because Duke had suggested it on Twitter. And somehow, through the magic of Twitter, the director of the game, Adam Tierney, found that tweet and said, hey, if you guys ever do this game, can I be on the podcast? And that day, like an hour later, he was already scheduled to be on the podcast. And so I changed the game to Aliens Infestation. And that ended up being one of my favorite episodes as well that we ever did for CC Portable. That was so much fun. I was so nervous having him on, but he ended up being a fantastic guest. I was really interested more about learning the behind the scenes of what it takes to create a video game. And so when I interviewed him, that was kind of the angle or the approach I took. And he was phenomenal. Like his stories were great, everything. I really recommend if you're going to go back and listen to an episode of CC Portable, check out the Aliens Infestation one. Really fun.
Yeah, I totally.
Yeah,
that was my favorite episode that you did. He was interesting, and you did a good job interviewing him, getting some good stuff out of him. And my favorite part was him having to dance around the console version of the game. Well, it wasn't a version of the game, but the console game that was coming out. Tied into Infestation, and him having to tread lightly as he spoke about the console game. That was good.
Yeah, couldn't smack talk it.
Nope.
Yeah, really, really fun. And then we played. Oh wait, no, we did have Ramvox on twice. That's right. I forgot all about this. We had Ramvox on again in December for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which was actually his recommendation. It's a Star Wars beat 'em up game, underrated. Another hidden gem. If you haven't played it, it is in no way reflective of what you think about the movie. A lot of people don't like Revenge of the Sith, myself included. This game took what is in Revenge of the Sith and somehow made a great game.
Yeah, the way you guys talked about that game, it made me really want to play it. I still haven't got to it yet, though.
Yeah, me either. Another one I didn't play here.
But I gotta say, with those prequels, all three of them are terrible. But we got some really good games out of that series. It's quite incredible. Even the PSP game for the Phantom Menace, or not the PSP, sorry, the PlayStation 1 game for the Phantom Menace.
Which one was that?
It was just called the Phantom Menace on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Overhead game, kind of sort of Diablo-ish in a way, not really, but that was a fun game. You had Racer, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
I'll tell you what, did you guys ever play, we can go off on a little tangent because I completely agree. The prequels, if we can talk about this for a moment, had some great game tie-ins. Two specifically that come to mind for me. You guys ever play the actual Pod Racer arcade game where you sit in like a pod racer? Dude, that game rules.
Yeah. I think they had it in Chicago. I'm pretty sure they did. And it was, I only played like a round of it, but it was something else.
Yeah, really fun. There's some great Star Wars arcade. There's one Star Wars arcade game where you're like, it's fully immersive and it kind of moves around. I get motion sickness, so that game was not for me at all, but I totally love that pod racer game. And another game that is tied to the episode 1 was Obi-Wan on the original Xbox.
That's good.
Fantastic. Now, okay, take that with a grain of salt. I say fantastic for what it is. You know, don't expect Knights of the Old Republic or anything, but great game. Now, I might be looking through rose-colored glasses right now because I haven't played it since it was basically new, but I remember being super addicted to that game when it came out, and I thought it was really fun.
I think it got trashed by the reviewers. They have been wrong in the past, so that's the reason why I never gave it a shot. But
I'd love to play it again. That's kind of on my to-do list is track down that game and play it again just to see if it holds up to what my memories have. Did you guys have any other was there anything good for episode 2?
I don't know. There was like a lot of games that came out like while those like Knights of the Old Republic is one, but like Republic Commando, which is a tactical shooter kind of thing that came out around the prequels time, and that's
Battlefront and Battlefront 2, the original ones.
Yeah, those are good. Rogue Squadron games, even though those are based on the original series, they still came out, while the prequels were the thing, and games, Looking at my shelf now, trying to find Star Wars stuff.
Wasn't there like a bounty hunter game on GameCube or something? Was that it? Was that any good?
Yeah, and that was Jango Fett too.
Jango Fett, yeah.
Tied into one of the movies. I don't know which one, but yeah, that was a good game as well. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Some good Star Wars games. Then we went weird. Moving on from Star Wars into January, we went weird. We played mobile games. I thought it was time we before we played a racing game, I thought, hey, let's play some mobile games. That's what people want to play. And I'll tell you, Seiji was my guest on this. Great guy. He develops mobile games, and so he was a great guest. Gave some great insight on that. That's another fun episode to check out. That kind of like a sleeper episode. You might look at it and go, Mario mobile games, this is stupid. But Seiji was a phenomenal guest on that one. Much better than Matt Bandy or Buried on Mars.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
But I remember the one takeaway I had from that is the Dr. Mario mobile game. Fantastic. And you don't pay $1 to play it, and you can get tons of value out of it. Really good game.
Unfortunately, I've downloaded all 3, and I played Mario Kart and Mario Run for about 30 seconds each and totally wrote them off. And I still haven't got to Dr. Mario, but it's still on my phone. The other 2 are deleted. So
check it out. The other 2, I think you're right. 30 seconds is about all you need with them. They're not my cup of tea. But yeah, check out Dr. Mario.
Mario Kart game, I don't understand. You can't control it. It's just I don't get it. I don't know.
That one actually I never even played.
Yeah, I tried the Mario Kart one and I just couldn't. It was like you were saying, Kevin, the controls, it was weird.
Atrocious. I don't even know how it got. How did that pass any sort of standard, let alone Nintendo's? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Next, after that, we move into February, and I did the Who Do You Love poll one more time. And this time, so Samus won the original one. Zelda won this time. We ended up playing Link Between Worlds, and I had Bill from STC Pod on as a guest. Fantastic guest as well. Not as good as Seiji, though. Still go check out that episode first. But Link Between Worlds, a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, if we can talk about some games that we should have played. I really wanted to, like, every season do a Zelda game. I don't even think we did a Zelda game in season 2, right? Oh, we did Link's Awakening. Maybe we didn't do one in season 1. Yeah, that was it. Man, all the Zelda games are great. I really wish we could have got to. There's 2. Wish we could have got to Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks. One of those, because those are really great. And the Ages and Oracles game on Game Boy Color. Those great games.
Yeah, that was it. This was another one that I'd held on to. not playing with the anticipation of playing it for CC Portable. And yeah, I had a blast with this one. It was a lot of fun. I like the mechanic of the painting on the wall. I thought that was
Works
cool.
really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think you and Bill mentioned it in the show, but that renting of equipment and that seemed like it was going to be the biggest pain in the ass. It was going to be like, oh, I'm going to hate this, and you ended up loving it. You know, it worked really well. You got access to things that you might not have in a regular game got right away, and then you got to keep it. You know, if you and money seemed to be fairly easy to come by in it. So,
yeah, really great game. Check it out if you get the chance. And then for our last March Madness, I went weird. I went back to the beginning of portable gaming itself, and we played a bunch of LCD games with a heavy focus on Tiger electronic handhelds and Game & Watches. This, I think, was my favorite of the March Madnesses, just because I really did explore a system or systems that I knew really nothing about. And I have such a respect and admiration for Game & Watches now that I did not have before. You guys have any thoughts on this?
I think
I hated them then, and I hate them now.
Really?
I think LCD. Yeah, they're not my thing.
I was on this episode, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry. We had this was the California crew. We had Matt Bandy and Chris Roberts on this one. That's right. So go and listen to that one to hear Matt Bandy say, Mars, really, have you ever played a Game & Watch?
Oh no, not the Game & Watch, just LCD games in general. I have one. It was Sarah's. She got it in France, and
and it's a good one. It's it's like the Mario one, isn't it?
It's right here. Hold on. This one.
Yes. That I think was my favorite one of all the Game & Watches that I played, because that's the one I own as well.
Isn't it Cement Factory? Mario Cement Factory?
Is it Cement Factory? No, it's not Cement Factory, because you're putting together like gifts. It's just called Mario Brothers, I think.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah,
that's the first appearance of Luigi.
Oh, you didn't know that? Luigi. Oh, you mean Luigi Ever? Really?
Ever. Yeah, because that predates the arcade game. Predates all of that.
No, the Luigi was in Mario Brothers for like
the
Atari game. Right?
Yeah, it predates that.
This Game & Watch predates the Atari, like
the very first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for
it. I think that Game & Watch came out in 81, and it wasn't until like 82 that the Atari game or something came out.
It says 83.
Is that correct?
It says 83 on this.
Well, whatever it is, I guarantee that's the first appearance of Luigi.
I don't know, because there was a version of Mario Bros on the Atari.
Kevin, look it up then. Okay. Look it up, Kevin. I promise you. Let's make a bet right now. What are we going to bet? Come on. Last episode of CC Portable ever. Let's up the stakes a little bit.
Okay. If I'm right, you're doing an episode of CC Portable next month.
I was going to say a whole nother season.
Whoa. Calm down.
Oh, somebody's not so sure now, huh?
I will do one more episode of CC Portable. I'll give you that. But if I'm right, I don't know what to do if I'm right. I get to pick a whole nother month of Film Dangos, like in October.
In October? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll do the horror ones.
All right. Luigi. List of Luigi games. This doesn't give me my date here. What if I do my phone here?
Can't you Google like first appearance of Luigi? I'm sorry, my setup is really weird. I'd do it, but it's really complicated.
What is the first appearance of Luigi in a video game?
Here's a summary from Wikipedia. Luigi first appeared in the 1983 Game & Watch game Brothers.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
That was perfect.
Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and other titles.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe this.
What? Oh, is that what the kids are doing?
Are
Is that
you
what the kids are
on
doing?
fleek now?
Am I on? I don't know what the kids call it, but boom,
Okay. Well,
boom,
I
shakalaka.
learned something new today. First
Ah.
in Game Watch. Well, there you go. All right. So how much are you going to give me for this? Don't you want the first appearance of Luigi?
I have that one. I have it. It's the one I have. Which, by the way, get a battery and play it. That game's awesome.
I think it takes 3 batteries. It might be
I think it takes 2. I think they all take 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're programming October's Stone Dangle then.
Dude, Richard's gonna be pissed.
Well, I'm giving him August because I think he's getting annoyed with all these movies that we're forcing him to watch. I think he wants like RoboCop, a RoboCop month or something.
Could be fun.
Yeah.
Bill says he wants a citation for the where did you get that info? I don't know. Siri, Bill, get off our backs.
It was Google.
Yeah.
And it's on
Google.
Wikipedia, which is not the most authoritative source.
Okay, no, this debate is over. I won. All right.
Well,
No
maybe-
takesy backsies.
Maybe I should check somewhere else here. Make sure.
You son of a bitch. Okay, moving on. In April, we played Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. Mega Matt was my guest. I don't even know if he's still in the chat there. Fantastic game. Probably the best Game Boy. Definitely the best Game Boy Mega Man game. And it's a little bit spendy, but great game. I got nothing bad to say about this game.
I haven't played it.
Great
Did
game.
not play that one. Sorry.
Bandy, nothing?
No, it's a fun one. Yeah, I played it on my Retro Pi Game Boy.
Oh, why don't you show that to the camera now that CC Portable's got visuals? Look at that. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Backlit screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my buddy made this for me.
Does it play all Game Boy games?
Yep.
Game Boy Advance and all that?
Uh-oh. Mighty Q Dog is already coming up with, he's saying Wikipedia is inconsistent with itself. One paragraph says Game & Watch, one says arcade game. Uh-oh.
Oh, this is going to become the...
How about we just do both? We'll play another month, and he gets to pick the games. Or he gets to pick the movies.
Controversy.
You both win. You both win.
Mm,
And I win, too.
No, I like just the fact that I was right. It's not about we both won. It's I won.
mm,
But just for the sake of the argument, if we were to do one more CC Portable month, what would no? We'll discuss that at the end. We're almost done with season 3. The last game that we played last month in May was Fire Emblem, the first, I guess, RPG. It's a tactical strategy RPG, but the first one of those definitely that we played. I had Dean Lasagna from Round 2 Gaming as my guest. I love this game so much. I want to go play every tactical RPG now.
Mm-hmm.
really? Every single one? Have you played what is it? Jean Dark? Joan of Arc? Jean Dark. Yeah, hold on, let me get it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this was another series that I wanted to play, and I haven't finished it. I need to go back and pick it up again. But yeah, I like the setting. I like those type. Yeah, it was fun.
The second I get back to America, I am going out and buying Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And I really, one of my goals, game collecting wise, moving on right now, is getting like repros with English patches on games that never came to America. And I really want to get a repro of the like Fire Emblem games for the Super Nintendo.
I think were there a few on the NES as well?
Yeah, those aren't really regarded as being too good, but the Super Nintendo games are often regarded as being some of the better or some of the best Fire Emblem games. There's like at least 2 on the Super Nintendo that I'm aware of. Kevin, did you figure out what that game was?
Yeah, it's forgive the sticker on here, but it's Jean Dark.
Huh, never heard of that.
Joan of Arc by Jeanne d'Arc.
Oh, it's on the PSP.
Yeah, and it's a tactical RPG, like your Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblems.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I picked it. I found this like for I don't know $5 when they were blowing out all the PSP games at EB Games, and I just took a chance on it. I said, "Oh, this looks like something," and I started playing it, really enjoying it. Now it's like it's hard to find that one, but yeah.
I'm gonna write that down because I've never even heard of that.
Now Mighty Q Dog is saying Game and Watch by 4 months. So Game and Watch wins by 4 months. So you're up 4 months. Although I believe that they started working on the arcade game before.
Shut up. And that was it. That's it for CC Portable. Those are all the games we played. Man, so much fun. Again, I just got to a point. I feel like I said what I wanted to say with CC Portable. I also have some other projects that I want to work on. I might do another podcast. Who knows? I actually really like this stream thing we're doing. I got the wheels are turning in my head now. This is a lot of fun.
It's a lot easier too. And then you have the audio version, and you can just convert it to audio for people that need the audio, and it's done. Like there's no editing or anything.
I'll tell you what. To give a little shout out to you, Kevin, and Retro Fandango. I was one of the audio people. Mm-hmm. I always listen to the audio version. But lately I've been watching a lot more videos, and I've kind of switched over to watching the Retro Fandango. Of course, when you guys do like the live feed, it's at like midnight for me or whatever. It's really so I usually have to catch it after the fact, but that's what I've been doing lately. When I'm like making food, making lunch or something, I'll pop it on. And yeah, I dig it. It's been fun.
Yeah, I got to, as much as it pains me to do this, I have to give the shout out to STC Pod, because that is where I started watch. And of course, Bill chimes in right away because of course he has to. He can't wait for his credit. He needs to interject his own right away. But my listening of audio podcasts has dropped dramatically for a few reasons. One, I don't at work. I don't have a scheduled lunch anymore, and that's where I would listen to a lot of podcasts. I'd go for a walk, and that would be like an hour every day. And then my commute as well, I would listen to podcasts, which has dramatically been cut because there's not as much traffic. And my air conditioning is out in my car, so I have the windows rolled down, so I can't hear anything. So I've been playing music in that. So I've been watching the podcasts at work. I just throw them on while I'm doing some work, some mundane tasks or whatever. And yeah, I guess I'm converted as well, and I've been watching more than. And really, yes, Eric is 100% correct. Really, the person who deserves all the credit, more so than anyone else, is Lotus, because Lotus is the one who steered Bill in this direction. And if it weren't for Lotus, Bill would have never been able to figure out what to do, unlike you did on your own today, Curtis. I'm very proud of you for doing this. You just needed a couple little sentences, and you went ahead and did it. Unlike, I'm sure Bill needed Lotus to hold his hand through that. So congratulations all around. We're all great. We're all wonderful.
We're great. Cartridge Club. Check it out. Is that technically under? Are you guys under the Cartridge Club banner?
Which?
Let's start with Retro Fandango. Is that still under the?
Yeah, we're still there. We're still around.
Is STC Pod considered under that?
They shouldn't be, but I think they are. They really should. I mean, they don't even. They're posers. They're the poser podcast of the CC. Like, they don't really talk about it. Video games. They buy a lot. Stuff's coming in. They buy a lot, but not much goes out.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Matt Bandy.
Hey, what?
You got those 3 games that you wish we would have played on CC Portable?
I do. Yeah. Number 3 would be Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm, or Theatrhythm. It's kind of a smoosh word. Oh, yeah, it's great. I absolutely love all the Final Fantasy music, and it's a rhythm game, and there's a little bit kind of some RPG elements where you level up some characters, and so if you like that game, or if you like rhythm games and you like the Final Fantasy music, it's great, and visually it's cool too. It's like my ideal perfect rhythm game because it kind of combines it. I love Final Fantasy, love the music, and love rhythm games. So would have liked to see us play. And there's two Final Fantasy rhythm games. They're both on the DS. The second one is called Curtain Call, and so yeah, I wish we would have played that. And number 2 would have been, I really wish we would have done the Advanced Tactics game, which is another our tactical RPG on the Game Boy Advance. It's very similar to Fire Emblem, but it's more in like a modern warfare setting. That's one I always assumed that we would have gotten around to playing. And I really wanted us to play, like Kevin said, a Castlevania game. And I'm really surprised we didn't. And I would have liked to have seen us play Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, which is the second game that came out on Castlevania game out for the DS. You play as 2 different characters in it. You can switch back and forth between them on the fly, and yeah, that's a really fun Metroidvania game. So that's my number 1 pick. I would have liked to have seen us play Portrait of Ruin. I've played it a few times, but that's another one I could always go back to and play. So those are my 3.
Nice, very good picks. Yeah. Well, I feel like we're getting close to the end.
All good things.
All good things. Very good. Maybe I'll start a Star Trek podcast. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
Well, you got your co-hosts right here.
I'm finally, just to go off on a little Star Trek tangent for a second. While I got you here, Kev, did you finish Deep Space Nine?
Yes.
I'm getting close. I have like 9 episodes left, I think, of season 6.
Okay, so that's the second last season, right?
Second last, yeah, and then season 7. So, but one of the good things during all this COVID madness is I've been watching one episode, at least, sometimes 2, but always 1 episode every day of Deep Space Nine. So I'll be done in a little over a month. Wow, what a great show that is.
Mm-hmm. Stick to the end of the next season. You will, because you're so far in, but
yeah.
I remember hearing you say that, Kevin. You didn't like the final season so much, right?
There was some parts where I think they sort of ran out of ideas and were kind of stretching it, but then once they got to like those final 8 episodes, it really picked up steam. And then for me personally, the finale, and this, no spoiler here, but the finale was a little disappointing. The finale itself, but for the most part, it was a nice conclusion for the most part.
Well, now that I'm getting close to the end, I'd love to chat with you guys. I know I'm gonna want someone to talk about Deep Space Nine with when I finish, and not to bog CCPortable down with this, but I just had to throw it out there. I'm really excited. I'm getting close to the end of Deep Space Nine.
That's good.
Started collecting those toys.
Oh yes, Matt Bandy, you started collecting some. How far are you going to go, man? It seems like this is a slippery slope, man. This is a slippery slope.
It really is, and they're so cheap too. That's the scary thing.
I know.
And they're easy. They're so easy to find.
He's doing TNG stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
There's Playmates.
Yeah, there's always a bunch of them at like Very Game Exchange or something, and same. I don't want to go down that slippery slope, and plus, like a lot of them are like broken, a lot of broken toys, and I don't want to be one of those guys who collects broken toys that goes out
on
there
eBay. Like you just search, all of them are on card. Like 90% of them are all on card. They all kept them that way, and they were so mass produced. And it's good. So I'm just going now for the Bridge Crew, and we'll see.
But you got a couple double. Like, when you say Bridge Crew, are you getting like every variation of each person on the bridge?
Well, no, I originally got the Riker from the Series 1, and then realized, he's got like this weird rip on his shirt, and like he's like, so
But
it's weird. And then so I got the other one, but it's like the season 1. So it's the
no, it's
uniform
season
from
2.
the season 2 uniform
got
because
the
he
beard.
says he's got the beard,
Yeah.
but the uniform is different. So I don't know.
I know. And Riker's
We'll
the
see.
only one that never had like a legitimate season 3 and on uniform.
Mhm.
You know, for how many they had, like Troy, she has like 3 or 4, you know, like all of her outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
Picard's
Well-
got his normal, he's got his jacket one.
Yeah, I have the jacket one. I'd like to get the other normal.
Riker never
Picard.
gets any love. Although I will say, aside from the Playmates, I have a Riker figure that's like a little bit bigger, maybe like 7 inches or so, like a talking Riker that actually
Mhm.
Vintage gave me. And that to me is like the definitive Riker figure. Really
So-
good.
Riker, like
There-
a string or what?
What?
How does it talk? You pull it-
He's got a little button on his back, and it's great. He's like, red alert. You know, he says, what else does he say? I know he says red alert because that's like his big line. What else does he say? Probably says something like, let's go to Risa.
Mm.
Does he lean?
yeah. He leans and every
or
time
swing his leg over the chair?
Exactly. Yeah.
I like a maneuver.
All right, this is totally devolving into Star. We'll save this for the Star Trek podcast. Let's
Can
get back
I say one more thing about?
No,
So,
no, go ahead.
Okay, so this is one of my
Better be
biggest
good.
regrets. This is one of my biggest regrets in my life, which is, so there was a thrift store a couple towns north of me, and this was a few years ago. We went there. They had this signed, autographed photo of Riker, signed by Jonathan Frakes, and it was on this plaque, and it was gorgeous. And I didn't buy it because I figured, it'll always be here, and it gone. Next time we went back in a couple of weeks, it was gone. I wish I have a picture of me standing next to it. But and every time, because my father-in-law lives in this town, every time we go there, I'm like, God damn it, I should have got that Riker.
Was that part of your haggling technique? I'm not going to buy that this time around, but I'm going to take a picture beside it and
Yeah.
drop in price.
Well, as everyone knows, Riker's my absolute favorite. To put a button on the Star Trek talk, I don't know if it was similar thing. I went to a thrift store. Actually, were you with us, Bandy? It was for one of the SoCal retro things. Gosh, who was there?
Was that the one where it was the Star Trek picture, but it said Star Wars on it? It said Star Wars photo.
It was a dang.
It was
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It was a picture of Kirk and
Yeah.
Spock, and it said like Star Wars photo.
Yeah, I have a picture of that too. That's great.
I took a picture of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh,
But
man.
anyway, okay, back to CC Portable.
Oh, can we just keep talking about Star Trek, please?
I really want to. What have we been doing for 2 hours? Yeah, I want to put a button on this. I had a lot of fun doing CC Portable. I hope if anything, the Cartridge Club Prime works in a few portable games now into their regular rotation. I hope some people found some value, found some new portable games out there that maybe they want to check out. And I'm just glad that I get to program October's movies for Retro Film Dango now.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm pretty sure they'll be all good. I mean, the last one you programmed were stellar movies that everyone keeps talking about, so I'm sure.
The Westerns?
No, actually, yeah, that one was fine.
Are you trying to throw shade on my documentaries?
Yes.
First of all, if anybody would give any of those movies a chance, they would love them because they're all great.
Chance, baby.
You know what? Whatever.
Just kidding, Chris. Just messing with you. So, Chris, let me ask you a couple of questions here because this is
Go for it.
value, and I'm pretty sure there's some things that people have been wondering about. Just to be clear, so we know that you're stuck in England because of this pandemic, but that has had no bearing on your decision to wrap up this show, right? This is something that you've been thinking about for a while before that, or?
Correct. Yeah, I kind of thought 3 seasons would be a nice, good number to finish up on. But I will say that it's a good thing it is coming to an end, because I have no way to play any other games. I luckily I had brought the rest of season 3 with me, and then a few more games just to play for kicks and giggles. And but yeah, I pretty much don't have anything else to play that hasn't already been covered.
Okay, is there a chance that you would consider bringing the show back periodically, like once in a while? Like you said, there was a couple of games that you were thinking about doing, and that, like, maybe 6 months down the road, you just throw out an episode here and there.
I could maybe do that. Yeah. I mean, why not?
If it tickles your fancy, kind of thing. Just something to think about. Like, I understand. Like, if you think about it, all of the monthly podcasts in the family, if you will, your Quick Save Club, which is number 1, by the way, and then CC Prime and RF Gen, like all of those shows have a team of at least 2 working to put those shows together every month. And you were the only guy that was doing it by yourself on the lonesome.
That is true.
So my hat's off to you if I was wearing a hat. I see Matt Bandy's wearing a hat, but he's got headphones over top of it. It's a little hot. You got a hat's off from Matt Bandy.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt Bandy.
Doing that. Like,
You're welcome. Anything for you, Curtis.
For 3 years, doing that every month. That's a big accomplishment, and I think you deserve a round of applause for that.
I'm gonna clap for me too, because it's sad having. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, no, I would. I subscribe to Never Say Never, and if my fancy gets tickled, well, I might just do another CC Portable.
What was the game that you said that you regret not getting to? If there was one more month,
Starfox Command was the one I really wanted people to check out. That I thought, man, this game does not get enough love.
Well, there you go. Maybe try getting some Starfox Command under your belt.
You never know. We'll see.
God knows you'll never get CC Prime to play it. So.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a CC Prime game. That's a little bit more niche.
I see.
Was that the? Did you have any?
That's pretty much all I had. Unless you want me to ask you some more stuff, I could get into the whole thing, like England and how you're doing and all that stuff. If you want me to, because everybody's curious about that. If you really want me to.
No, we'll save that for another time, because I didn't want to run this too long. I thought 2 hours would be a good way to cap off this finale episode, if you will. But maybe I actually just had an idea, a good way to kind of bring this thing to a close. I'm still kind of processing it in my head, but one thing that I loved that we did in every episode of CC Portable that we haven't done thus far, and I kind of want to do, is the 3 questions of doom.
Oh.
Now, given we didn't actually play a game this month, we never really talked about if we did play any game. Did anybody actually play anything?
I did. I played a Midnight Club LA remix on the PSP.
Well, fantastic. Kevin, are you ready for the 3 questions of doom for LA Club remix?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Question number 1. Is this a good portable game?
It is. It is a good portable game. It's a game that you can play on the go. They took the console game and they converted it into a portable game, but you just go on there and play a race or 2 and you're done. It takes you about 5-10 minutes. And that's what you want. You're on the bus or you're waiting in line for something or something like that, and you can just play a race and save the game and have a sense of accomplishment that you did something.
And forgive me if you said this. This is on the PSP?
Yes.
Okay. And is this this is an arcade racer, not simulation, right?
It's one of those like if you ever played Need for Speed Underground, but it's Rockstar's version of that. It's sort of like a tuner racing game where you start off with a car that doesn't have very much to it, and then you can add things to it like your nitro boosts and your better tires and all that. And you earn money by racing and that. So it's kind of like a lot of these racing games are kind of like an RPG in a way, where you just level up your car and get it better and better until you can race the bigger guys. You get more cash, and you carry on through the story.
Sure. Question number 2. Should this game belong in your collection?
I think so. I think if you're a fan of racing games, you definitely should have it in your collection.
Fantastic. And the final question, question number 3. Out of 5, 5 being perfect, how would you rate this game?
Okay, well, there are some issues with it. I mean, especially, I think I've been a little spoiled with like the Vita. The screen is a little small, so it is a console game that's kind of squished down. So they didn't really take that into consideration as much, and it's a little jaggy. Like the graphics are a little jaggy. I mean, it is a 15-year-old game now, but the frame rate is there. The frame rate is solid, but I'll just give it a little knock for the graphics and say it is a 3. Which is it out of 5?
Out of 5.
Okay, 4 out of 5 then.
4 out of 5. Nice, solid number. You know we don't do halves or quarters or any of that BS here on CC Portable. 4 out of 5 for what was the title again?
No, it's not Need for Speed. It is what the heck is the name?
LA Club, Midnight Club. Yeah,
Midnight Club LA Remix.
Nice. Matt Bandy, did you play a game?
Yeah, I played Sydney Hunter and the Mayans Curse.
Ooh. That's from Collector Vision Games, if I'm not mistaken. What did you play that on?
I played it on my Switch, and I've played it on handheld mode only.
Okay, so you're kind of cheating, but I'm going to allow it because it's the last CC Portable ever. Matt Bandy, are you ready for the 3 questions of doom?
Yes.
Question number 1. Is this a good portable game?
No. It's a good game, but it's a little long to be playing on the only in handheld mode. After a while, I start getting an ulnar nerve palsy, and my hands start to go tingly and numb. I gotta shake them out. So ideally, it would be better played on console. So, or maybe just the fault of the Switch from how it's designed and to be held that way for so long. So, but it's better as a playing on a console.
And for those who may not know or be familiar with this game, it is a homebrew game from this kind of plucky upstart company called Collector Vision Games. It's a kind of a Metroidvania meets Indiana Jones with kind of a friendly cartoon vibe. I've got to play a little bit of it, and it is fun. I did enjoy the little bit I got to play. Question number 2, Matt Bandy, does this game or should this game belong in your collection?
Yeah, if you're a fan of Metroidvania, 8-bit action platformers, yeah, it's a fun game. It's the difficulty starts kind of easy, and then it ramps up nice. I like that. A steady incline in difficulty. So yeah, it's a good game. I'd say recommend it.
Question number 3, out of 5, 5 being perfect, how would you rate this game?
I haven't finished it yet, but I would say 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Yep.
Very good. Well, all right. Does anyone? Oh my goodness. Does anyone want to do it to me?
Curtis, what have you played this month?
Oh, I did not see this coming. Wow, I'm not prepared. I played Super Mario Land 2, The Legend of the 6 Coins or something, or Secret of the 6 Coins. You know,
yeah,
one of those things.
All right. And first question, I think, is this a good handheld game? Is that the first one?
It is. It is a good portable game. It does. I love when Game Boy games especially do this. It has an autosave feature. So when you complete a level, boom, it's logged. You don't have to go save it. No passwords. It's just there. So if you shut it off quick, you can come right back to it and pick it up where you left off. I love that feature. Not enough Game Boy games utilize that.
All right. What's the second question?
Should this game belong in your collection?
Oh, should this game belong in your collection, Curtis?
Absolutely. I put off playing any of the Mario games for the Game Boy just because I feel like they're. What are we going to say that hasn't been said? They're Mario games. They're amazing. They're all unique and fun in their own way, to be honest. The first one has some shooter levels, which you don't really see in Mario games. The second one is very much like Super Mario World boiled down onto a Game Boy game. Great graphics. And then the third one is actually the first Wario Land game, which I think is the best of the three. And that's my hot take right there. That Wario Land game is really fun.
That's a good one.
Okay, Curtis, give us a review, a rating out of 5 stars.
Playing it again, because I have played this in the past, although I never beat it. I found that this time it was a little too easy. I wanted a little bit more challenge.
It must be really easy then.
It's pretty easy. Like, I racked up lives, and not that any of the platforming Mario games are particularly difficult. Maybe the NES ones are probably like the hardest ones, but yeah, it was fun. The graphics out of control. Introduces Wario for the first time. Awesome. The
bunny
power-ups with the bunny ears. Awesome. Really fun. Really like the space levels where you're kind of floating around, different physics, but yeah, overall just a little too easy. I would have liked a little bit more challenge. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. So
wow, 4s all around.
4s all around.
Good.
There you go. So 3 games to check out. Before we end, I'm going to give a shout out. Hey, Duke from Retro Nonsense jumping in at the very end. We said nothing but terrible things about you. So go back and watch this later. And yeah, I want to thank you guys, Kevin and Mr. Matt Bandy, for joining me. I could think of 5 other people that would probably be better than you, but I'm glad I got you 2.
We were available, so
you were available. You know, and that's the thing. So, well, but thank you seriously for coming on and doing this with me.
Well, thanks for doing it.
It's been a good time, and like I said, just think about bringing the show back once in a while. What the heck? Why not?
You never know. I'll do a Retro Rejects style reunion. Wait, who?
Yeah, well, don't do it. Yeah, what is that? You just record and never actually produce the show? Is that
I'll release it like a year later?
Something like that.
Make sure, by the way, you check out Kevin Buried on Mars. He's got tons of stuff. What do you want to plug?
Oh, nothing. Whatever.
Okay. And Matt Bandy, he's just around, man. He's just around.
I'm around.
He's around. Definitely check out, if you haven't, Cartridge Club at cartridgeclub.org. You can jump on the forums or the Discord. It's a great community where I met these 2 gentlemen, and there's plenty more. You can talk about games, movies. It's really branching out, and it's becoming much more than what it just began as, which was a book club for video games. And I'm really happy to see it still thriving all these years later. I feel blessed to be a part of it, and have input with CC Portable for these last 3 years, and it's been a good run. So I'm gonna leave it with that. Thank you guys for playing along, and CC Unite. I'm ending this broadcast.